Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder. That's Amin Elhassan. Amin, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, earlier this season, you mentioned that the 20-game mark is the benchmark for knowing what a team is. Is the team good? Is the team bad? And we have officially reached that point in the season. This is a momentous occasion in the Oddball universe. We can now definitively say, scientifically, whether a team is good or bad, instead of recklessly speculating and doing early action. Well, we're never going to stop doing that. Instead of speculating with a 5-game sample size. Are you excited about this?
I'm thrilled. I can't get enough of making unbiased, scientific, smart assumptions about teams with the proper amount of sample size. Sample size is the word of the day, even though that's 2 words. And we finally have enough sample size, Charlotte, to make some definitive statements.
It is the concept of the day. We're very excited about it. We have to fulfill our contractually obligated segment. I mean, with this first one here,
Bronny?
We got, well, no, just the Lakers.
Oh,
just the Los Angeles Lakers. And our producers are going to surprise us here. They're going to give us a verdict of whether this team is good or bad. And we are going to have to react and see how we feel about it. So let's go. Drum roll. Nice. Oh, thumbs down.
Oh, that's supposed to mean that's bad, right?
Well, historically.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, the music.
Yeah.
I know that
the
music.
Lakers started off hot, but they have lost 6 of their last 8 games. They're now 12-10 and 9th in the West. They're on pace to be 45-37. They lost by 41 to the Heat last night, and they lost by 29 to the Timberwolves on Monday. Can we play JJ Redick's press conference after the game to see if we can pick up on his? Yeah.
What's your post-game message after a tough loss like that and kind of on top of some other recent tough losses?
To you or to the team?
Oof. That is a lot of suppressed anger there. I mean, look, I feel like JJ is I feel like he was embarrassed in that moment because I feel like he did a lot of mental gymnastics to convince himself that he could make this roster work in LA. And, because you're offered a great job and it's like dating a guy who deep down is not great. And you're like, but I can fix him. JJ's like, I can fix him. We can make this work. I don't know if JJ can fix him.
I just want the record to show. I told his ass. I said straight up to JJ when the rumors were going, and I said, man, don't do this. It's not a good job. And he changed the subject. He made it about like people making content out of anything and all that. And I let him, I said, I'm going to let you pivot on that, JJ. I'm not going to fight you on that because I know it's not a comfortable conversation to be having, especially when you're trying to deny it to the world and it was really happening. But I'm just like, this isn't a good job. This roster isn't good. And so, when you talk about mental gymnastics and being embarrassed, all right, we're talking about a team that is 12-10. A year ago, they were 13-9, right? Now, we're going to get into this a little bit later, but I'm going to just roll this out right now because I'm a wild card like that. Net rating a year ago for the Lakers after those 22 games or so, Charlotte, was a respectable, I would say, minus 0.8. Now, the deal with net rating, and that's why we wait the 20 games, ladies and gentlemen, because 20 games really tells you that's enough of a sample size for us to draw conclusions. Net rating is the stat that most definitively ties to your win-loss percentage more than any other stat. That's the one that feeds it the most. Something around 0. So anything from 0, minus 0.7, 0.8, plus 0.7, you're pretty much a 500 team, right? And you're operating around 500. So the Lakers last year, minus 0.8, but they were 13-9. Tells us the record was a little bit ahead of who they were as a team, and they're really like a 500 ish team, which is they ended up being pretty much, right? Fast forward, Charlotte, to this year.
Yes.
They are 12-10. So you might say, oh, they're only like a game behind where they were last season, even though everyone told us this season is so much better, right? Charlotte, do you know what the net rating is for the Los Angeles Lakers this season?
Not off the top of my head, I mean.
Minus 4.7.
Ooh.
Almost minus 5. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the definition of a bad team. And I'm not going to blame coaching and everything. I'm just going to say, like, it was a roster that I don't think really impressed anybody or shouldn't have impressed anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if LeBron, who is, 25 days away from turning 40, is your best player and he's playing every game and you're not having serious conversations about load management, he should be like the supersonic super soaker that you can bring out and just like destroy everybody. But instead, he's having to carry such a big amount of responsibility here. And like last night when people were running down the court, there was a fast break against Miami and he's just pointing and he's standing at center court being like, somebody do this because my legs are tired.
Stop that guy.
He should be able to have that help.
The supersonic super soaker that Charlotte is talking about is the one that she talked me out of buying for my kids. It's electronic. It shoots like a laser beam out. Pew, pew, pew. I was like, oh, my kids will love this. And Charlotte's like, they're going to take someone's eye out. You cannot buy this and give it to children.
Well, you were also going to get yourself one. And I was like, this seems like a very powerful.
My children are at the age where every toy they buy is basically just a gateway for me to buy that toy and actually play with it. Yeah.
I mean, well, you've hacked fatherhood. I mean, let's move on to the next team, which is the Miami Heat, who faced the Los Angeles Lakers last night.
Yes.
Let's see what our producers have come up with as a verdict. I love that drum roll. Oh, thumbs down.
Thumbs down and the bad music.
Okay. So they're the ones who beat the Lakers by 41 points. But, it seems maybe Bam and Jimmy are not who they once were. Is that too soon to say? Bam is only shooting around 42.6% this season, was 52% last year. I'm going to be honest. I don't have many takes about this Miami Heat team. It seems very much like okay, they exist. And one way or another, it's sort of like instead of thumbs down, maybe just like hovering to the side.
That's why I'm confused. Like, we're calling them bad. I think they are kind of who they're supposed to be. 10-10, 500. Net rating is a +2. So they're actually a little behind where they should be. Maybe slightly above 500 where they should be. But again, this is a team that we know several things about. We know that they are going to defend at a high level. We know that they're all based on execution. And we know that they've got a ceiling because the talent level just isn't there. Now, bright side, like Tyler Herro's having a career year. He's playing excellent for them offensively. And whether that's something that they can hang their hat on or that's something that they can throw into the trade market, either or, like that's a good sign. Bam Adebayo's shooting percentage is lower than what it should be. I think a lot of that is due to his shot selection and him not getting enough easy baskets for himself. And then Jimmy Butler this is the Jimmy Butler experience at this stage. He's going to be great some days, and some days he's just going to be one of the guys. But this is why I keep saying the Heat need more. They need help. They need to go out and make a move. And everyone's like, no, they'll figure it out. I'm like, I don't think they're going to figure it out. I think, again, it's one of those things like the roster's not that great.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is something that I feel like we've known for maybe even a couple seasons now. And because they got lucky in that 2023 run where their bench players started playing out of their minds, it was a Band-Aid in a way that didn't actually address the problem. All right, let's see what the next team is here. It's it's your Phoenix Suns, I mean.
Yeah, sure. I bought them. Me and Matt Ishbia. What do we got for the Suns?
Wow, they're good.
All
right. They're 12-8, despite dealing with injuries to their stars. They're on pace to go 49-33. But here's the thing. I mean, Shams Charania reported that Durant is going to be reevaluated in 1 week after he sprained his ankle. I mean, I feel like this is sort of the Jimmy Butler experience too. It's the Kevin Durant experience. Like, he's older. You hope that the injuries, when he has these tweaks, you just kind of hope that they're quick recoveries and that it doesn't align with the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the problem. So they're 12-8. Their net rating is like negative 0.1 or whatever. So they're a little bit above where they should be. It should be a 500 team. But they've got an asterisk on theirs, right? Because Durant missed extended time, because Beal missed extended time. And so they haven't had their full complement. And as a result, like what you're seeing is when Durant's healthy, I want to see the 10-2. And then everything else is when he's not out there. So the difference between Durant and Butler is that when Durant plays, he's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Butler has games where he's not excellent when he plays. And that's a big difference, right? But they both miss time. But the difference is when Durant plays, this team is a juggernaut. And they've missed him. And that wouldn't be as bad if Bradley Beal had been healthy the whole time. But Bradley Beal's health has been up and down. So as a result, you get a lot of games with some, quite frankly, very weird lineups for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's not the same thing. All right, let's see what the next team is. It is the Milwaukee Bucks. Yep. Oh, man, I'm excited to see what our producers decided for this one. I mean,
how?
Bad?
How? How's that possible?
So they lost to the Hawks last night. They're now 11-10 this season. They're on pace to go 43-39. And the Bucks have managed to both lose 6 straight games this season and win 7 straight games. So you don't think they're bad? I mean, you don't agree with that? They
won 7 games in a row before they lost that last one. I think they're trending upwards.
But you said you're the person who said that they beat teams.
Yeah, they beat teams. But again, like we gave them an opportunity when NBA Cup happens. They're going to have to beat probably 3 good teams. And that tells us whether it's real or not. Also, hey, guess who's back? Khris Middleton, who's been that's a huge cog in their machine, and they've missed him for the entirety of the season. He's back. That brings a little bit more balance to the whole thing. By the way, the game he comes back against is the Boston Celtics. Congratulations, Khris. They really eased your ass way back into this. But yeah,
I hope you enjoy that.
I mean, if you can say, oh, they're 11-10. That's bad. But you have to take the full context of they started awful. And they figured it out, and they pulled themselves out of that hole. Now, whether that's because the schedule got soft conveniently or not, that remains to be seen. But I think they deserve a little bit more credit than that, right?
No, I was giving it to them the other day. I feel like you were saying that it was only because they played these bad teams. I feel like we're still in a period of time here, where the Bucks have a lot to prove, and these next string of games and the NBA Cup can be a great place for them to prove, like, oh, we got our act together.
Let me be clear. I didn't say it's only because they play bad teams. I said they conveniently have played bad teams. Like, that's a fact. I'm not making that up. That's not subjective.
No, I don't think you are.
No,
right.
But I'm just saying that, like, it's only because it makes it seem like, oh, I'm subjectively saying, that doesn't count. I'm not saying it does or doesn't count. I'm just saying this is what happened, right? If I'm rich and if I play Powerball and now I'm rich, like, I can't say, oh, this is because he worked hard or whatever. Like, let's be real. I played Powerball and I won it. Now, I might be a hard worker separate from that, but the source of my wealth is winning Powerball. And the source of their wins was playing against mostly subpar teams. That's just a fact. It's not a matter of opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that this is an exciting inflection point for the Bucks. I think their games are going to be really fun, especially with Middleton back. I hope that he can stay healthy. And oh my God, I would be really happy for them if they can make Dame and Giannis and Khris all work together and get the result that you think you should get when you have those 3 guys at full strength. Okay, what's the next team? We have the Atlanta Hawks. All right. What's the verdict? Oh, okay. Here's the thing. I don't think that this team is good or bad. I think this team is a mystery. I think this team is an enigma. I am confused by this team. This team makes zero sense. They beat the Cavs twice and they beat the Celtics in the opening round of the NBA Cup play. And then they lose twice to the Wizards, somewhere in there, before or after, doesn't matter. And they beat the Bucks. Like, what is it? I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, me neither. This team, they are 12-11, which is about 500, but their net rating is minus 1.9, almost two. It's almost 2 points per 100 possessions worse than their opponent when they step out on the floor. There's not a whole lot of explanation for it. I think, there is an element of luck involved in basketball where you sometimes get results that aren't quite commensurate with how you play and who you are. Having said that, there's a reason why I'm like, you know what, man? You got to spare $20 or whatever, put on Hawks for NBA Cup and Trae Young for NBA Cup MVP, because in that kind of scenario where it is one and done, and all I need is 3 good games in essence, I could see them getting hot. And you got Trae Young obviously being a big-time scorer, leading the league in assists. You've got Jalen Johnson, who's kind of a do-it-all type of guy. You've got my man, what they call him, the Great Barrier Thief, right? Yeah, like they've got pieces there where you're like, okay, I can see kind of the outline of a team that might be decent, but the reality is most nights they aren't. And again, as Charlotte pointed out, they lost to the Washington Wizards twice, who, by the way, have 2 wins on the whole season. Come on.
So this is what I love about this. If you use transitive property in sports, then the Hawks are better than the Cavs and the Celtics, and then the Wizards are better than the Hawks. So the Wizards are the best team in the East. They're not. Let's see what our producers gave the Wizards.
Speaking of the Wizards.
What's the verdict here?
Yeah, drum roll. Ooh, I wonder what it's going to be. What the suspense. The suspense is killing me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the
6 thumbs down.
I wish I had
2
more
wins.
hands so I could give this more thumbs down. Yeah.
2 wins on the season they are 2-17. Are the Wizards this year last year's Pistons, or are they just last year's Wizards?
Yeah, they're a worse version of last year's Wizards. I won't even put this on the Pistons, man. The Wizards are an unserious team. I'm gonna keep saying it, man. This is not a serious team. And there's, the thing says it's on pace for 973, which would be tied for the worst ever in 82 game season. That team, the 973 team, was the Sixers. And there were so many stories back then of like guys being asked to check out of a game. And then the guy would tell the coach, turn around and look behind you. And there'd be a guy in the stands who literally had a pistol in his waistband. And the coach was like, you know what? You keep playing. Like, that's another level of unserious that doesn't exist in our league anymore because of a variety of reasons. But it is still unserious nonetheless, right? Like, regardless of whether it's life menacing or not, it is still unserious. And that's what this team.
Yeah, I mean, they've been so bad this season that whoever is playing against the Wizards this year is statistically an all-time great regular season team per Kirk Goldsberry at The Ringer. Like, that's just, they make, it's like a funhouse mirror, really. Here's the thing. Does this mean that Cooper Flagg, I just feel bad for any New Englander who has to live in DC because I did it. And it wasn't like the corporate government feel, I don't know. Cooper Flagg, is he just going to go to Washington?
Well, I mean, luckily for him, we have a weighted lottery system, so God knows where he's going to end up. No matter how bad they are, they still are going to have the same amount of odds as a couple of other teams. And even then, you may not win. Again, as I remember one time when I was working for the Suns, the president of basketball ops wanted a historical workup of the odds of winning the lottery. And I said, it's a lottery. It doesn't matter historically. It's a lottery. Right. Every time, by definition, is incredibly random because it's 1,001 combinations. So whatever percentage we have, I think we had 5% or whatever. So we had 50 out of 1,001 combinations. Buddy, I don't know what to tell you. Ain't no historical work I'm going to tell you that we're going to get that pick.
All right. Well, congrats to the Wizards, maybe. When we come back, prop a slot. Stick around. Welcome back to Oddball. It's time for Prop a Slot. Prop a Slot is presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Oh, yeah.
You know the rules.
No,
do you know the rules, Amin?
I don't.
I think you do of this one. It's the slot machine, and it generates a real DraftKings prop bet from tonight's games. And if we get the third, we choose based on these spins, and if we let it go until the third spin, we have to take the third spin. So let's see what the first one is.
So you said proper slot, and I thought it was like, oh, this is something for our UK fans. In it, this is a proper slot, ain't it? And it's not. It's prop a slot. Got it.
Yeah.
I still do it with an accent though, because in it.
Well.
Yeah. They love saying yeah at the end of questions.
Who do we have?
You notice that?
I can't see the screen terribly well.
No.
Ja Morant.
Yes.
Over. On points.
We love Ja Morant props around here.
Yeah, they're kind of fun. Ja said that he is not going to dunk anymore. First of all, the over-under is 21.5 points against the Kings for minus 125. But he said he's not going to dunk. He said, I'm trying not to dunk at all. Y'all think I'm lying. I'm dead serious. Sometimes I get knocked out of the air and a foul doesn't get called. Hey, 2 points is 2 points.
Yeah.
So
I'm out longer than what I'm supposed to be when it gets fouled. That's a good point. It's a very mature way to go about it, especially considering, he's not a big, strong dude. He is kind of on the slender side. So, and you're at your most vulnerable when you're off your feet, when you're in midair. So kudos to him.
And it's not affecting his point production.
No.
Like it's just like, this is what people loved so much about Ja. His dunks are out of this world, although he also had amazing layups. So as long as he's putting on a show. Do you like this, Amin? 21 points against the Kings?
Against the Kings. I do like it, but why do I get the feeling like there's something better out there?
All right.
That's
Let's
the hard
roll
part
the
about
dice.
this game. It's like I should stop right now and just say, yeah, that's great. Let's do it. But then, you see. What do you like?
Oh, Jokic over on points. He needs to have over 30 points against the Cavs.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I don't like this one as much as the Ja Morant one. Let me say for a couple of reasons. Number one, even though Jokic has been tremendous this year, he tried to remember the last time he struggled in a game, and the answer he came up with was a game where he had 41 points or whatever.
Yeah.
Cleveland's been worse defensively too this year, but Jared Allen, Evan Mobley are still there. They still have the bodies to kind of bother him some. I like the Ja Morant one better than this. If this were my last pick, I would be like, I could live with it. But you know what?
No, let's do it. Let's
spin
that wheel.
Yeah. Where will it end? We're over.
I love this wheel.
And, that's Steph Curry over 4 threes.
Well, we're stuck with it, Amin.
Yep,
we're stuck with it.
We are stuck with it.
The Warriors have lost 5 straight, and they really are going to need an aggressive game from Steph at home. So, you know what? Why not? Sure. We'll take it.
He averages almost 5. Almost 5 at home versus about 4 on the road. You know what? Houston, great defense, but Golden State, A, has to win, and B, they're going to see these guys in a little bit. So you want to send that message, hey, don't even think about it, kids. Yeah, we'll have to live with this one.
All right, can we real quick put on my Spotify Wrapped, because our amazing producers made me a Spotify Wrapped, but for Oddball, and my favorite is the hot dog one, where it was my top 5 hot dogs, which is always going to be Wass's hot dog stand in Rockland, Maine. Then TD Garden, then Madison Square Garden, then the Rebel Dog at Summer League, and then Barclays Center West.
Barclays behind.
Although still top 5. Still top
low.
5. I left off Indiana's and Miami's, so I'm, I do rank them. There you go. All right, that is all for Oddball today, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
Michael Jordan's GOAT.